All right. Hello out there from the Badger Rock Kitchen. Here we are for our Rooted Hispanic Heritage Month workshop series. And we're super excited this week to be welcoming Yoli Rangel from Reap Food Group as our guest chef. So, Jolie, I would love if you would introduce yourself and just
Sure.
share anything about your story you'd like to let us know.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah. First, I have to say thank you for having me here. And yeah, it's an honor to be able to do this. I'm not a chef. I'm not professionally, but I have been cooking probably since I was like 8 years old. I learned a lot from my grandpa, who was the main cook, actually, which was rare by that time in Venezuela, and my grandma and my mom. And yeah, I just love cooking, and I love everything from the way the food is produced, growing it until eating it.
Um, I think you count as a chef, Jolie. Cooking since you're 8, since from when you were 8. To me, that's a chef right there. So tell us about what we're going to be making today.
So today I'm gonna be making something that is very, very common in many different countries in Latin America. The name is different everywhere, but we call it sofrito. And I think in most of the Caribbean countries they call it sofrito. And it's basically sauteed veggies. The main ingredients throughout the different countries, and even in the country, in one specific country around different regions, is a garlic, onions, and some sort of pepper and tomatoes. But these can vary. Actually, I believe in Spain, if they have a different name, they use vegetables like potatoes and carrot, things like that. We don't. So I don't want to say this. Oh, this is the sofrito. No,
Yeah.
this is my sofrito, the one I learned with my family when I was growing up. And sofrito can be eaten directly like that, but mostly it's used to like a base for another recipe or another meal. Like today, we are going to be making the sofrito, and then with eggs, we'll be making perico, which is scrambled eggs. That once the sofrito is made, you add the eggs and scramble them, and it's a very popular eh, breakfast in Venezuela.
Sounds delicious. I can't wait to learn. So you're chopping up some onions
I'm
to start?
chopping onions. Another thing is that I'm pretty bad at following recipes.
Mm-hmm.
I always say I unfollow recipes. The recipes are only a suggestion of what ingredients are going to be there and the proportion. So I don't know how to cook with how you call it,
Measurements?
measurements.
Yeah.
Not that I don't know, I just don't use it.
Yeah, you're
So I
not
don't know how to
alone.
tell you, but it will be kind of like if we look at the proportions you want, like, and I kind of go from the ingredient that is the least in the recipe and until the one that is the most, and then so it will be the garlic will be some garlic, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of garlic, then the onion, then the peppers, and I will talk about this pepper in a little bit, and then the one that will be must will be the tomatoes. So for this amount of tomato, I think half an onion, or because this was a big onion, half an onion is about the right amount. Like I said, for my recipe,
Mm-hmm.
um, then
I think
uh,
many of us are the same, Jolie. We eyeball and we taste and we cook
exactly,
to how we
yeah,
like.
yeah. So I wanted to talk about these peppers, this ají dulce, and it's a sweet habanero. And since a few years now, some breeders started breeding that habanero here to get it sweet, but it's it's a key ingredient in Venezuelan cuisine. It's also used in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. Um, each one is a different variety. So, like if you go to Puerto Rico, the ají dulce is a little different than the ají dulce in Venezuela. But the smell is kind of like the habanero, has all the flavors of the habanero, but it's sweet, doesn't have the heat. And how it originated in the Caribbean, I don't know. But here it had been bred to do. So you could find it with some growers here.
Did you get these from a local grower?
I grew this.
You grew them yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
I grew these ones. This is a different pepper that I got just for color because and they come in different colors. The plant can be red, produce red or yellow or green. So this one I just got added for color.
So this is the perfect time of year to make this recipe when all the peppers
Yes.
are ready.
Yeah, and I am how you call that? Not just a fan, but I in Venezuela we have year round we can grow, but here we can't. And I try to always eat seasonal. And of course, I'm gonna want tomatoes at some point. I wanna have sofrito at some point. So in this time of the year, I make a bunch of stuff and freeze them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is another thing that you can do when you make this.
Yeah.
So let me get the garlic now.
So while you're preparing the garlic, do you want to share a little bit about your journey? I know that you had some part of your life in the academic world, some part of life in the home world, and some part of life in the community world. And just if you want to share about some of those different pieces.
Sure. Yeah, you got it. So I grew up in Venezuela, and I went to school there. I studied agricultural engineering, which is a career. I don't know. There are some here, but in Venezuela, it's kind of like you go and then you decide if you are going to work with plants, with animals, with buildings, etc. So I went through horticulture. So when I also did my master degree in horticulture in Venezuela. No, actually it will be horticulture. Trying to
translate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I came here to do my PhD in plant pathology because in Venezuela I worked as a researcher helping with the plant breeders to find genes that will allow rice and corn to defeat some diseases that were there in not only in Venezuela but in some places in tropical countries. So I came here as a graduate student, and then long story short, I decided to just do my master and move to another city. But I met who is the father of my kids. We got married, had 2 kids, but by the time my first child was born, I decided to quit the academic world. I was working at Plant Pathology. No, I'm sorry. Oh my God, what is it? Botany department at UW. And I was just thinking, my kids do not have any family here but me. Who's gonna teach them Spanish or the culture, things like that? So, like I think I told you before, I had the privilege and the blessing of being able to stay home and with my kids, and that's what I did, and I do not regret that. As much as I love science and I would have loved to stay in the academic world, my kids were that change.
That's such a gift to your kids and yourself.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah. So in the meantime, all throughout my kids have a 19 and a 16-year-old now. I always love working with the community. So I went to from I started volunteering with in my kids' schools and did a lot of different things. Um, I worked for a church doing had an after school program for 10 years actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a part-time job and sometimes I could bring my kids and work directly with the Hispanic families. Uh, then I did so many different things I don't remember to be honest, but it was all community oriented.
Yeah.
And um, was 7 years a school board member in Stoughton too, for the same reason because I believe education is the key for many different things. So yeah, then I stayed home for a little bit again, and when COVID hit, somehow I ended up working with Rip.
Yeah, and that's where we got to know each other.
Yeah, and then I am the community partnership coordinator, which I don't even know how that happened, but I guess I just was either lucky or, and then I now with REAP I get to connect the farms, the small sustainable farms, with the community and promote the local farming and in that the community support the local farms in many different ways. Um, so I that's something that is very close to my heart because I believe that if you have food and a roof in your family or people that love you, that's all you need. So I feel like this fits me a lot. So yeah, that's how it happened. So
That's how you got here. And what are some of the programs you do with REAP? I know that we met with the partnership with Roots for Change.
yeah, that's actually my favorite program. I'm on different others that we do. The Farm to Family program, which was an idea that came from the promotoras from Roof for Change. And by in 2020, we got a grant to work together with Roof for Change as a WPP grant, Wisconsin Partnership Program through UW, and COVID came right away, and the Roof for Change, they work completely directly with the community, and they also know that REAP works with the farm. So, like, let's get together. How can we feed the huge population of Hispanic population that work in the hospitality industry that nobody's talking about? Nobody sees them ever, right? And they all basically lost their jobs. So the farm to family started and back basically a CSA. And so we connect with the farms. And the beautiful thing is that the program has the families, the farms, um, in a circle. Like, I don't know how to say that, but the program also incorporated some of the community members who work with the program.
Yeah.
So REAP got the produce from farms that also many of the farms where right now we are almost like 80 something percent of BIPOP and minority farms. And we decided let's try to get some BIPOP farms because also Root for Change had members of their community that were farming.
Yeah.
And they lost, farmers market, etc. So the bags also include the cultural relevant food that we eat. So
Yeah.
so that's my favorite program. But we have so many others in the community. We have connected with Centro Hispano with a youth program, and in the past we have done some collaboration with chef. We bring the chef or food producers into the youth program and to share about their experience, and then the kids are hands-on into either making a recipe or doing something like that. And I work along with my wonderful coworker Allison that they farm to school, and then we have a wonderful. I don't remember what the NI of NIFAR is, but we forget National Institute for Agriculture, and the grant that we got is to support the implementation of food justice curriculum in Madison schools. So this is a pilot program with 3 different schools: Shabazz, Capitol High, and East High School. That's another favorite one that I have. We have field trip. We connect them with the speakers that are all in the food system. So
It sounds like it lines up so much with the work that we do here too at Rooted.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to you. That should be cooking.
I asked a big question. But Jolie and her team used to be during COVID here at Badger Rock to do those food boxes. It was 200 a week, I think, of boxes. So the farmers would pull up, the whole team would pack the boxes, and they would be distributed to families. And if you missed last year's Hispanic Heritage Month series that we did interview the Roots for Change team too. So go back and you can find that video.
To mention that, and this was a wonderful space to be.
Yeah,
we were very thankful that we found the space and that Badger Rock allowed us to do it.
Yeah. And one of the farmers that Jolie and REAP Food Group are working with for their curriculum for the high schools is someone that we'll be talking to also this month for Hispanic Heritage Month. Leticia and Angel of
Tortillas Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. So stay tuned, and they're also coming to our Troy Farm location this fall to do a workshop on nixtamalization and making tortillas. So don't miss those things. They're coming up.
And I wish people could try their tortillas. If you have not, find them in some of the farmers market in Tortillas Los Angeles. And once you try those tortillas, you don't want to
go back.
Any other. Yes. Any other than from the grocery store at least. Yeah. Okay, so almost done prepping.
On with the cooking.
Start.
I'm a distraction. So these are those peppers for color that you mentioned?
Yeah, this is just for color. But and some people use also green onion beside the onion, which is fine. Maybe what I should start doing is heating up the oil. And so we can start cooking the onions. And I'm using vegetable oil. Normally I use olive oil, but growing up in Venezuela, olive oil was super expensive. So we only use vegetable oil. So I'm gonna use vegetable oil here. And again, I don't know, just cover some of the, like probably 2 to 3 tablespoons. And I love that this is a gas stove.
Yeah.
Oh. So we're gonna heat it up and put the onions in there. So the recipe is very, very simple. You saute the onions until they are, look transparent. Then you add the garlic, and I use cumin or adobo. I don't have adobo here, but adobo usually have cumin, oregano, pepper, probably thyme. Don't remember what else, but if whatever you have in hand is good. But cumin for sure is one of the main ingredients in my recipe again, and salt. So you have all of these, and I wanted to show you this one. If you kind of smell it,
Oh,
yeah, smells like the
yeah.
habanero,
Yes, it
right?
does.
But it's not.
It's not hot.
It's not hot. And to be honest, I don't even. My mom will be upset at me, but I'm gonna take
The seeds.
the seeds off. But you don't have to. I don't do it normally. So actually, I'm gonna save the seeds for growing them again because you don't find these
Oh, you're
normally
gonna
here
save them to plant them?
to plant them. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you all don't know, the seeds inside a pepper, you can plant them and grow more peppers. So that's what Jolie's talking about.
Yeah. But if you wanna use your seed, this is the only pepper that I have been growing, so they won't cross pollinize.
Yeah.
So if you wanna use your own seeds, if you find the pepper that you love and you wanna grow, you have to plant it away from other peppers. So the seeds that you will plant again will be original, if I can call it that way.
Yeah.
And like you can see, I'm just chopping this without any precision.
Yeah. Like most of us do in our own kitchens.
Yeah. Okay, and let me see the onions. Yeah. And this is so I think a friend from Mexico actually the Ortegas who I got the onions and tomato from. They have a farm in Oregon, and we buy a lot from them for the farm to families there. So Lupe was saying that they do the same thing except for they call it salsa.
Oh, okay.
Sauce, no salsa like you could know it here, but sauce.
Yeah.
It's like a salsa de tomate.
And what's the name of their farm?
Ortega's garden.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, all the ingredients are from Badger Rock, Ortega's farm, Parisi family farm, in my own garden.
Perfect.
And look at the eggs are from the wonderful chickens.
Yeah, those are from
this here
our
to
hens
finish.
right here.
And so now I'm gonna just chop the tomatoes. And I'm using this. You can use any tomatoes, but usually the Roma tomatoes are more like a meteor,
Yeah.
right? So if you use a Noi tomato, it's gonna probably take a longer time because you have to wait until the tomatoes dry, or the whole sauce kind of gets a little dry.
Yeah, so they're a little less watery than the other kinds of tomatoes.
Yeah.
And if you have your own garden, you are looking for things to do with your tomatoes right now because they are just really going.
You can do so many things, of course. You can even use the green tomatoes for not just green fried tomato, but you can make tomato pie, or you can make apple pie. You mix apples and green tomatoes.
Oh, I've never done that.
And people won't notice. You can eat the green tomato just as a tomatillo. So it's just we don't normally do that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. And then one of the things that is easier than canning is that you roast your tomatoes. Roast the tomato in the oven for 100, 385 or something with olive oil and salt. You can add a little bit of sweetness, sugar or maple syrup or something, and just roast it until they are charred. And then pack them in containers and freeze them.
Put them in the freezer.
And then you will have it for soup or just a snack, to be honest. But when I freeze them, I'll use it for soup. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the garlic and the peppers.
Oh, such beautiful colors too.
Yeah.
Oh, it smells good.
And at this point, I'm gonna take the heat down to go grab quick the salt and cumin.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I add that, and it's because you don't want your garlic to burn.
Yeah.
So again, I am a salty person. I like salty food. That and some cumin. At home, I also use like smoked paprika.
Oh yeah.
You can also use oregano. Like I said, I don't have the adobo, so I'm gonna use some oregano. And I did that just to get the flavor,
A little bit of
the smell. And let's get quick the tomatoes then. Do you have one of those potato masher?
Yes. Can I find it? Is the question. Let me think about where that might be.
We can use just a fork too. But what I'm gonna try to do is that I will kind of match the tomatoes.
Before they're cooked or after they're cooked?
Mhm.
Before you cook them? You want to mash them before you cook
No,
them?
when I add it to
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. We definitely have a fork. And I may or may not be able to find my potato masher.
I can find it. I will go since you are busy with the camera. Sorry, I should have thought about it before.
No, that's okay. I think, but we do have a fork that works too. So this is one of the recipes. What are some other recipes you like to make with your family or with students or with
Oh, I love anything. I love any kind of food.
Yeah.
But my younger son loves Asian food, any kind of Asian from, Indian, Thai, Chinese. So I try, let's see, I had it. This. So the tomato is gonna start kind of like getting the juices out. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. You gotta kind of try it before you add more salt. But if you haven't cooked yet, so but that will help the tomato kind of start getting the juices out. Yeah. So yeah, so I cook that. I love Middle Eastern food.
Yeah.
So I love hummus, falafel, baba ganoush, tzatziki, all those kind of things. I love cooking. Um, besides Venezuelan food,
Yeah.
But yeah, we eat in this case with this recipe, perico. We eat it with. Yeah, I'm gonna add it here. So we eat it with arepas.
Oh,
This is the
yeah.
most typical way to eat it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't want to make arepas. I just use tortillas and fill it up and make a quesadilla with the perico inside. So,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure, but I think it looks like huevos rancheros probably. But I'm not familiar with huevos. I should be more familiar with huevos rancheros, but I am not. So maybe it's not the same, but it looks kind of like similar. So I'm gonna use the eggs. Oh, look at that! Look how beautiful those. That yellow, orangey,
happy chickens.
Yeah, these are from here, from Badger Rock.
Yeah.
With that amount of sofrito, you can use like 6 eggs easily.
Okay.
So you cooking something for dinner tonight for your family because you can
take it home. Oh my gosh, they would love that.
And just what is that? Okay, here. Yeah. I'm gonna use a little bit of pepper in here.
It smells good. I love that this recipe is so simple too.
It is super simple. It's just normally easy to make, quick to make. I mean, I'm just gonna add this. You don't have to. I just like to season throughout.
Yeah, I love cumin.
And some people add a little bit of water to make it a little more softer, but I don't. Make another one for that.
What are some of your other favorite Venezuelan dishes to make?
To cachapas. And cachapas is also my favorite food ever. Is corn, but it's dent corn. It's the ones that you see here all around that will be dent corn, but it's the one that we grow. It's no sweet corn. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so when you pick it up when it's what would you call green corn, that is the same consistency as sweet corn.
Yeah.
But then you take it and then you pass it through a mill. If you don't have a mill, you have a blender, you put it in the blender or the food processor, and you add a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. Depending on the region, it's probably some regions are a little bit more like a savory, like salty, kind of like cornbread, so in some places it's sweet and some places it's salty. Well, same thing with the cachapas. So and that's it. You don't have anything else, and then you make it pancakes.
Wow.
That's all it is. And then you take it out, and then you put a cheese that is called queso de mano because it's made by hand. And that cheese, which I can find here, well, supposedly I could in Chicago, but I haven't, is a type of mozzarella cheese. It's kind of the same style of cheese that you can, stretch. So it is worked in a way that then is round, about this thick, and it's kept in a brine. So it's kind of like acidy, salty. It's hard to describe the flavor. So like you can see that it's kind of now getting like a sauce.
I'm separating out.
And at this point, you can try it and see, if you need more salt or more cumin or anything that you want to. I like to let it kind of start caramelizing a little bit. But at this point, like as it is right now, we can add the eggs.
Okay.
And if I was going to use it just to eat like that, like just sofrito, I would let it dry more. But I'm going to add the eggs now. Let me try it and see
if it's good.
If we have enough salt, because I didn't add salt to the eggs.
Good.
You should try it.
It smells delicious.
Wait, I'm going to get some for you before. I'm going to get some in here for you.
Wow, this is just perfect to make it this season. And I love your tip of freezing it.
Yeah, you can freeze it at this stage. And then I'm going to leave this for you here. And you can use it for pasta, for beans.
I was going to say, it smells like you could use it for so many things. Like a simple tomato sauce.
And the difference between like these scrambled eggs, the perico kind of, you keep doing this. So normally when you do scrambled eggs, you kind of let it sit and then you move it, and then you get big chunks.
Yeah.
This is just very menudo. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, really small pieces.
Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. But so texture will be a little different than just the scrambled eggs.
Oh, it looks delicious, and it was great combinations. All those vitamins and the protein from the eggs and everything. It's yum.
And then, like, if I don't have it frozen and I want a shortcut because I'm in a hurry, I will use a jar of salsa.
Yeah.
So I will put the salsa to kind of like saute for a little bit, and then I will add the eggs.
Just throw the eggs in.
The flavor is a little different, but because the salsa you find here has some different flavors to it. It doesn't have the oregano or this. Some of them has lime. Yeah. So it changes the flavor a little bit of the perico, but it's a shortcut and it's also good.
Yeah.
It tastes good.
Yeah, I see what you mean about the textures. It's less kind of chunky than a scrambled egg.
Yes. It's you'll see it. I don't know how to explain that, but it's like a grainy.
So you were saying in Venezuela you lived in the city, so didn't have much of a chance to grow your own, but that you kind of...
No, you know, I fell in love with plants and growing.
Yeah.
When the first time, you know, in the school, you grow the beans and you see the beans, and that was like a miracle for me. I totally still remember. Yeah. And I probably was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I started growing. And then, so in the apartment, I didn't grow tomatoes there, but I did have a lot of herbs growing up. And I wasn't thinking of studying agriculture. I didn't think of going to agriculture. I wanted more of a biology, marine biology, things like that. Because I love being outside, I love nature. I cannot be in an office.
Yeah.
So, but the city where I grew up, Maracay, which is central, north central Venezuela on the coast, basically. It's a valley, and there is it's kind of like Madison in a way. There's a university there, and the two campuses is agriculture and veterinary school. So I didn't get into the school that I wanted to go to, so I tried going in there, and I don't know why I didn't think of going to agriculture when I wanted to go, but then that's how I ended up in agriculture. So you see, at this point, look at the consistency.
Oh yeah,
and it's at this point it's ready. If you want a dryer, you just leave it a little bit longer. And I like a dryer. Again, it caramelizes a little bit on the bottom, but that's my preference. But at this point, it's all ready
to eat.
Okay.
Oh, so easy.
I'm just gonna add. I eat with my eyes too. I think most people do.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna add a little bit of cilantro for my. I kind of grow microgreens.
Yeah.
And even when my kids come home, or even when they were growing up, I would put some garnish in their food and say, "You gotta make it beautiful to eat too." You eat with your eyes, and then my kids will start kind of putting their eyes just to be silly. But yeah.
It's true though. Food can be such good medicine in so many ways.
Yeah. You can also use green onions just for garnish.
It's beautiful.
So there it is, Perico Venezolano.
Wow, it smells so good. I can't wait to
try it. But we don't have arepas.
Next time. Well, thank you so much, Yoli, for joining us and for sharing your recipe and some of your story. And it's really been a gift to have you in the kitchen with us today.
Yeah, it was an honor for me to be here. Thank you, Sarah.
Yes, we appreciate it. And you all, if you try this recipe at home, Pop in the comments, let us know what you thought, or if you have other similar things that you like to make, share. We love to share and learn from each other about different ways to use some of these delicious vegetables that are in season right now.
Yeah, use all you can right now.
Yes, well, we still have it.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you so much again, Jolie.
Thanks again for having me.
And we will see you all next time.